Eureka wasn't your typical street racer. She was a legend in the making, a shadow that danced with the night. For one, she only came out at night. The darkness was her ally, her cloak, and her stage. Not because she was scared of the cops, but because sunlight wasn't exactly kind to her complexion. The sun's rays were her enemy, a reminder of her true nature. You see, Eureka was a vampire, a creature of the night, with a thirst for speed and a hunger for victory. But instead of brooding in castles, she craved the roar of engines and the thrill of victory. The adrenaline rush was her lifeblood, the races her battleground. In the neon-lit streets of Palm City, she found her playground, her hunting ground, and her ticket to the top. The city was alive with the hum of engines and the glow of neon lights, a perfect backdrop for her nocturnal escapades. Her weapon of choice? A sleek black Lamborghini customized to perfection. It was more than just a car, it was an extension of herself, a beast that roared with power and elegance. Her prize? Pink slips, those precious documents signifying ownership of a car. Each one was a trophy, a testament to her dominance on the streets. Eureka was on a mission to collect them all, leaving a trail of heartbroken racers and a few mysteriously drained victims in her wake. Her legend grew with each race, her name whispered in awe and fear. She was the queen of the streets, a vampire with a need for speed and an insatiable thirst for victory. Under the full moon she would stand on the rooftops looking down at the city that was both her kingdom and her hunting ground. The city lights reflected in her eyes, a reminder of the countless races she had won and the many more that awaited her. Every night was a new challenge, a new opportunity to prove herself. The starting line was her altar, the engine's roar her battle cry. And as the race began, she would become one with her car, a blur of speed and precision. Eureka was more than just a racer, she was a force of nature, a legend in the making, and as long as the night reigned, so would she, the undisputed queen of the streets. In the world of Need for Speed Heat, races weren't announced with trumpets and fanfare. Instead, it was the relentless ping of text messages that signaled the start of a new challenge. Racers, hidden behind their screens, would taunt, boast, and challenge each other in a flurry of emojis and slang. Eureka, despite her old-world origins, had taken to this modern form of trash talk like a bat to the night. "Ready to lose another ride, sweetheart?" she'd text, her thumbs flying across the keyboard with unnatural speed. Eureka wasn't just after cars, she was after status. The gleam of the sleek sports cars was more than just a reflection of wealth. It was a mirror to her ambitions. Each car she acquired was a step closer to the throne she sought in the underground racing world. The title of Countess was whispered in hushed tones among the city's elite racers. It was a coveted position, a symbol of ultimate power and respect. To be the Countess meant you were untouchable, a legend on the tracks and in the shadows. The elite racers knew that the title was not just given, it was earned through relentless competition and unwavering dominance. It was a title earned through dominance, respect, and most importantly, an untarnished collection of pink slips. Each pink slip represented a victory, a conquered opponent, and a step closer to the ultimate goal. Eureka's collection was unmatched, a testament to her skill and cunning. She had a reputation for being unbeatable, and her pink slips were the proof. But becoming the Countess wasn't Eureka's only hunger. Beneath the surface of her racing persona lay a darker, more primal urge. The thrill of the race was intoxicating, but it was not enough to quench her deeper thirst. The thirst, the primal urge for blood, still lingered within her. It was a hunger that could not be ignored, a need that drove her actions both on and off the track. She had learned to balance her dual desires, using her racing victories as a cover for her more sinister activities. She'd found clever ways to satisfy it, preying on those foolish enough to underestimate her on the track. Her opponents saw only a fierce competitor, never suspecting the true nature of her hunger. Each race was a hunt, and each victory brought her closer to her next prey. A quick bite during a victory celebration, a moment of indulgence hidden in plain sight. The thrill of the race was matched only by the thrill of the hunt, and Eureka had mastered both. A sip disguised as a celebratory drink, no one ever suspected the glamorous racer with a devilish smile. Her charm and elegance masked the predator within, allowing her to move through the world of high-stakes racing with ease. Each victory was a feast, each celebration a cover for her true nature. Eureka was not just a racer, she was a predator, and the track was her hunting ground. Palm City was a paradise for speed demons and adrenaline junkies. During the day, It was a vibrant metropolis, but when the sun dipped below the horizon, the city transformed. Neon lights painted the asphalt and the air vibrated with the rumble of high-powered engines. Eureka thrived in this environment. She'd cruise down the main strip, her Lamborghini turning heads and igniting envy. The parties were legendary, fueled by expensive champagne and the thrill of victory. But behind the glamour and glitz, Eureka was always watching, calculating, searching for her next victim, both on and off the track. Section 5. Eden Beach Showdowns. If Palm City was the playground, Eden Beach was the arena. This was where the most intense races went down, where reputations were made and broken. The salty air crackled with anticipation as drivers lined up their cars, engines revving like caged beasts. Eureka, cool and collected behind the wheel, would assess her competition with a predator's gaze. She knew their weaknesses, their driving styles, their breaking points. Each race for her was a carefully orchestrated ballet of speed, precision, and just a touch of ruthlessness. Section 6. Pink Slip Pursuit. The thrill wasn't just in winning, it was in the stakes. Every race for Eureka was a chance to add another pink slip to her growing collection. She'd carefully select her targets, choosing those with cars that would fill the gaps in her growing garage. A vintage Mustang, a classic Porsche, a rare Japanese import. Each victory fueled her obsession, bringing her one step closer to her ultimate goal. But with each victory, the whispers about the Countess grew louder, attracting both admirers and enemies. Section 7. A Taste for Revenge. Eureka's quest wasn't purely driven by ambition or a thirst for speed. There was a darkness within her, a need for vengeance that fueled her relentless pursuit. Years ago, she'd been betrayed by someone she trusted, someone who had left her for dead. The memory still burned like a hot coal in her chest, a constant reminder of her humiliation. She believed the key to her revenge lay in claiming the title of Countess. Only then could she draw out her betrayer, luring them into a final, deadly showdown. Section 8. Engines and Egos. The racing scene was a tangled web of alliances and rivalries. Egos clashed as loudly as the engines, and betrayals were as common as gear shifts. Eureka, despite her aloof demeanor, understood the game better than most. She'd play her rivals against each other, exploiting their weaknesses and using their ambitions to her advantage. She'd offer alliances, only to break them when it suited her purpose. All the while, she kept her true intentions hidden, a wolf in sheep's clothing, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Section 9. The Final Race. The tension had been building for weeks, culminating in a final winner-takes-all race. The air was thick with anticipation, and the night sky was lit up by the dazzling lights of the racing arena. The drivers had been preparing for this moment, fine-tuning their machines and honing their skills. Each one knew that this race would define their legacy. The prize, the title of Countess, and the entire collection of pink slips held by the current champion, the very person who had wronged Eureka all those years ago. This was more than just a race, it was a chance for redemption, a shot at reclaiming honor and pride. The pink slips represented not just cars, but the dreams and aspirations of every racer who had ever dared to challenge the reigning champion. The stage was set, Eden Beach was buzzing with excitement. The scent of the ocean mixed with the smell of burning rubber and high-octane fuel. Spectators lined the beach, their faces illuminated by the glow of the neon lights and the flicker of camera flashes. Vendors sold snacks and drinks, adding to the carnival-like atmosphere. The crowd, a mix of Palm City's elite and die-hard racing fanatics, roared as the racers lined up at the starting line. The energy was electric, with fans waving banners and shouting the names of their favorite drivers. The elite, dressed in their finest, mingled with the everyday fans, all united by their love for the thrill of the race. Eureka, behind the wheel of her Lamborghini, locked eyes with her opponent, a flicker of recognition passing between them. This was personal. The memories of past betrayals and lost races flashed through her mind. She tightened her grip on the steering wheel, her determination stealing her resolve. This was her moment, her chance to rewrite history and claim what was rightfully hers. The engines roared to life, and with a final deep breath, Eureka prepared to launch into the race of a lifetime. Section 10. A Countess Crowned. The race was a blur of speed and adrenaline. Tires screeched, engines roared, and the smell of burning rubber filled the air. Eureka and her opponent pushed their cars to the limit, each corner a near-death experience, each straightaway a chance to gain an advantage. In the end, it came down to a final, heart-stopping maneuver. Eureka, with a surge of speed and a touch of ruthlessness, edged out her opponent, crossing the finish line just a fraction of a second ahead. The crowd erupted, but Eureka had eyes only for her defeated rival. Section 11, A Toast to Revenge. As the newly crowned countess, Eureka stood on the winner's podium, showered in confetti and praise. But the victory felt hollow. Her revenge, meticulously planned and perfectly executed, had left her empty. She glanced at her defeated opponent, their face a mask of shock and despair. In that moment, Eureka realized that some wounds, no matter how deep, could never be healed by revenge. She raised her champagne flute, a toast to victory, a silent farewell to the past, and a promise to embrace the future, however uncertain it may be.